I had never been one to embrace spontaneity, but when Jess downloaded the Randonautica app, she insisted we try it out. Our quiet weekend plan shifted from Netflix marathons to a nighttime adventure in Elder Grove Forest, a sprawling place of towering pines and whispering winds. At 27, it felt silly to be scared of the dark, yet there was an electric thrill that buzzed in my chest as we stood at the forest's edge. Jess, ever the enthusiast, had already chosen our destination, a pin marked deep within the woods. "Come on, it'll be fun," she urged, her excitement infectious. I took a deep breath, the crisp night air filling my lungs as we stepped onto the narrow trail that led into the yawning blackness. "Dark out here, huh?" I remarked, trying to shake the unsettling feeling that crawled up my spine. The moon bathed everything in a silver light, yet the shadows felt suffocating. Jess turned on her flashlight, a beam cutting through the gloom. "It's just the woods, you're such a baby," she teased, shoving my shoulder playfully. I shot her an eye roll but couldn't help the smile creeping onto my lips. The further we walked, the more the sounds of the forest enveloped us. Crickets chirped nervously, and the occasional rustle of branches echoed around us as if the forest was alive, observing our every step. As we ventured deeper, I began to feel the disquieting pull of something beyond the trees. "What did you say the pin was again?" I asked, trying to mask my unease. "Just a few hundred yards from here," Jess replied, her voice bubbling with anticipation. Her terms of excitement made her oblivious to undercurrents I could sense, the way shadows flickered, or the sense of being watched. "Maybe we should." My words were swallowed by a sound, a low guttural growl, reverberating through the stillness. I froze, the hairs on my neck standing on end. "Did you hear that?" I whispered, my voice scarcely louder than a breath. "Hear what?" Jess asked, her flashlight beam dancing erratically as she turned to face me. Ada sounded. "Big?" "Probably a deer," she dismissed, but her smile faltered, the playful gleam in her eyes dimming. I took a step backward, my instinct begging me to retreat, but curiosity kept me rooted to the spot. We moved on, albeit cautiously. The app insisted we were near, and we trudged forward, hearts racing, an odd mix of fear and exhilaration. But the further we went, the more pronounced the noise became. It wasn't just the gentle rustle of leaves, it was something padding through the underbrush, growing closer, an ominous presence looming behind us. "Okay, now I genuinely don't like this," I said, my voice trembling. "Maybe it's just another hiker, late-night adventurers," she suggested, though the tremor in her voice revealed her own doubt. A branch snapped sharply in the distance. We both turned, the beam of Jess's flashlight cutting through the darkness in erratic patches. The realization hit, we were not alone. Anxiety twisted my stomach as I recognized the sound of something stalking us, a rhythm that didn't belong to the forest. "Jess," I breathed, panic igniting. "We need to go now." She didn't need convincing. We turned and sprinted down the narrow path, branches clawing at our clothes and hair as if the forest itself was trying to snatch us back. The snapping branches echoed behind us, growing louder, more defined. Our labored breaths filled the silence, disbelief spiraling into frantic desperation. "There has to be a way out," Jess gasped, glancing over her shoulder. I mirrored her action, a dread clawing at my gut. "Just run," I barked, my voice cracking. Beneath the pounding of my heart, something growled again, deeper and more visceral. It pushed us to run faster, to shove aside fear and harness primal instinct. The forest continued to close around us, shadows stretching and shifting. Our light flickered dangerously low, revealing glimpses of our surroundings. A gnarled tree here, a dense thicket there, everything now blurred into an amorphous haze of fear. Just as doubt seeped into my mind, Jess stumbled and fell to the ground, a sharp cry escaping her lips. My heart seized as I turned, ready to pull her up, but a dark figure emerged from the shadows, tall and grotesque. Its form seemed to blend with the night, a monstrous shape just beyond the reach of the light. "Come on," I yelled, pulling Jess back up as adrenaline surged through me. We launched into the night, sprinting without a clear direction, the outline still pursuing us through the trees. Finally, the trees began to thin, and a moonlit clearing opened before us. Without hesitation, we barreled into the open. Panting heavily, we skidded to a halt, tossing frantic glances over our shoulders. The woods were silent now, the creature's growls fading into the distance, swallowed by the vast emptiness. "Wah, what was that?" Jess stammered, trembling all over. "I don't know," I confessed, fear clutching my heart. We stood in the pale light, staring into the dark forest, the night hollow yet charged. Something had lurked in the gloom, and we were not meant to find it or let it find us. Next time, I started, exhaustion weighing on me. "Let's just stick to Netflix." Jess nodded, a fragile smile curving her lips. For the first time in hours, I felt a semblance of safety as we joined the patterns of stars twinkling above the treetops. But inside, I knew the woods would long remember our fearless intrusion, and perhaps we would too every time the wind whispered our names.